What's up YouTube? Mellowette and Matt here. And you can see from the screen we're doing deck profile again today on Zero. Yesterday you'll have seen the Tachikaze deck profile, maybe even today depending on time I can actually get this up. But I thought I'd now cover the other side of the global event with Nubatamas. Yet again we are on JP because obviously I've had this for a while, I've got the full support. Easy to actually test out to its full extent. But what we're going to do is we'll break down the deck as usual. And then I'll get a couple of games on the JP rank ladder, see how we go, and talk about it afterwards. Alright, starting up, we have the usual starter. When it boosts an attack that hits, you can Soul Blast 2 and choose one of your opponent's cards in the bind zone and send it to their drop zone. Sorry, not one, two. Two cards, not one. So obviously, best starter that we can get, because you do need to get the extra removing from bind, because otherwise they're just going to bind their stuff and it'll just go back to their hand. You'll have literally done nothing. So, really good card. It's better with Legion, because obviously people do kill it off, so obviously you can now Legion it back to deck to get it back into play again. And obviously riding over a Legion to then re-Legion gives you the 2 soul to then pay for it again. Next up, we do have new Style Pgs, because we do want to have... We're not too limit break reliant. If I'm correct, these are the old style ones. If I'm wrong, I apologise. I get them mixed up all the time, and 4 damage. So yeah, this is a 4 damage one. So, and let me just double check. Actually, critical. Yep. So this is the critical ones. These are these are the old style PGs. So yeah, this will be an old style PG, and you really want them because you're not limit break reliant. Next up, we run 4 copies of Fuki. Fuki's skill is, if your opponent's got 3 or more cards in hand, you can count blast 1, tuck this into soul. Choose a card at hand from your opponent. Choose a card at random from your opponent's hand and bind it. End of the turn, it goes back to their hand. So, accidentally tap there. Really good card. It's literally bind from hand before you attack, so you can actually get rid of their PGs if you need to. Removes resources, and obviously you then combine it with starters to then send those cards to drop zone. Next up, we have the Dreadmaster. Dreadmaster, Voidmaster. I get the two names mixed up. But its skill is when it boosts an attack that hits, doesn't have to hit Vanguard. A hit can hit anything. You can Count Blast 2, and during your opponent's next. For your opponent's next draw phase, they are forced to discard 1 card from their hand. Really good. It skips the whole bind step. It's a forced discard. You could literally take out their PGs before they draw what they need. You could take out their ideal ride target. Lots of potential. Really good card. Next up is 8K Vanilla, because we have gaps and there's not many good cards at the moment to fill it with. Next up is grade 2s. We run 4 of one of the Legion mates. Its skill is when this unit attacks the Vanguard, you get plus 2k, so 11k attacker, really good, because obviously you can then hit unboosted. Second skill is when this card is placed on Rearguard Circle, if you're on Legion, you can Soul Blast 1, choose up to 2 cards in your opponent's bind zone, and send them to drop zone. So same as the starter, but it's on place instead of having to hit the Vanguard, so really good. It lets you mitigate what's in the bind zone before you attack. Honestly, really good card. Glad it's in the set. Next card up is the other Legion mate. Its skill is when this card is placed on Rearguard Circle, if you're in Legion, you can discard 1 card from your hand, search for a grade 3, add it to your hand, choose a card from your opponent's bind zone, send it to the drop zone, and then this unit gains power plus 2000. So again, mitigates the bind zone, which is really good. Fetches you your next Legion target, so you can then ride and re-Legion, or in the case of the double rare Legion, you can find 1 to discard to activate its skill. Really good card. Honestly, surprised it's a common is the honest response. Next up, we have Tamahagane, forever staple of the Nubatamas. Skill is when it's placed on Vanguard or Rearguard Circle, choose one of your opponent's Rearguards, bind it, and then at the turn it goes back to the hand. You'll use this in Shiranui. You'll use this in the other version of Shiranui with Dominates. Grab 4 whilst you can is the honest response. Then this card is literally the one off in my deck. It's, again, same situation as the grade 1 8k. No better options. It's literally when a card's put in your opponent's bind zone plus 3k. It's literally just slot filler. Down to the grade 3s. We do run 4 of the grade 3 Triple Rare Legion. He is very much not important. You can skip him if you do not want to use him. But his skill is, when you Legion with him, you can choose one of your opponent's rear guards in the front row and bind it. And then end turn it goes back to hand. So it's literally ride this to finish off. That's all you really need it for. Outside of that, it's just vanilla. And the second skill is you can, when it's your attacks, you can Soul Blast 1 for it to gain plus 2k. It's really not that amazing. It's honestly a big skip for me, but it's here as the finisher, is the honest one. Hence why it's sitting on the heal trigger. Next up is the Double Rare Legion, which honestly, in my opinion, is the better one of the two. Got 2 skills. First one is, when you are in Legion, you can discard 1 card from your hand that's got the shares the same name as on your Vanguard circle. You can then choose one of your opponent's rear guards and bind it. Then, if your opponent's got 4 more cards in their hand, you choose 2 at random and bind them. Then, at the end of the turn, all the cards bound by this effect go back to hand. So, obviously, you're taking an Incept off the field, taking 2 cards out of the hand, which could be PGs, ride targets, anything. And second skill is, when it's your attacks, you've got unit in your middle column plus 3k. Honestly, this is your go-to target for Nubatamas. Focus on this. The triple rare comes afterwards. Oh, forgot to mention. Roll back up. This one, Legions with the rare one. The Soul Blasts to get out of the bind zone. And this one, Legions with both of the grade 2s. Soul Blast 1-1 and obviously the on-place one. So this one gives you... For those on global, obviously it's still a gacha system. So obviously when you pull this, you'll get both styles of both of the Legion mates. Whereas this one will only give you the 1 copy. But if you don't get this one, the mate that you end up missing is a common. So it's dead easy to craft. And then next grade 3, we do run 4 copies of the Break Ride. Obviously it says 3, but I do have a SP one to make up the 4th. I run the Break Ride because you can afford to take your time in some matchups with this deck. So obviously this is, when you Break Ride on it, plus 10k, you bind one of your opponent's rear guards, and then, you bind a card around from your opponent's hand, and end of turn it goes back to hand, and then before your opponent's next draw phase, they're then forced to discard a card. And then when this unit attacks, your opponent has 3 or less cards in hand, you get plus 3k. So, really good card. Mitigates your opponent's hand again. One lot will fade out once we get to the first wave of Shiranui. But for now, he's honestly one of the best cards you can ask for. Then to round off our grade 3s, you have our run off of Huzaku Zen, I think it is. I really can't remember half their names and they're really hard to pronounce. Skill is Liberate 4 once per turn. If your opponent's got 4 or less cards in their hand, Count Blast 1 and discard a card. Then you can choose, this unit gets power plus 10,000. And then you can choose 2 cards from your opponent's hand and bind them. At the end of the turn, the bound cards go back to hand. And its second skill is, when this unit attack hits a Vanguard, you can Soul Blast 2, Count Blast 1. Choose 2 cards from your opponent's bind zone, send to drop zone. The first skill is the same as the Legion, without the bind, which is really nice. And the second skill is literally starter, but with an extra Counter Blast cost. So both really useful skills, but the other units that are available do them better. It's just here as a one-off at this point. But that is it for the actual deck itself. And I shall catch you back in when we find a game. Alright, we are now in a game. We are at the start of a brand new season on the ladder, so I am Legends here at the moment. And we end up with Link Joker as our first matchup. Not too bad of a matchup, because obviously we can remove their intercepts to still get a swing at their Vanguard. Could be deleters, which will cause us more issues. But if it's the basic ones, then we're not in too bad of a spot. So obviously we've got our grade 3 to ride. We've got the 1, the 2. I'll keep the... Actually, no, I'll put it back. Because I like to try and get Fuki Bear if I can. Don't miss. But we're not in too bad of a spot with this hand. We do need to find a way to try and bind stuff. But as we can see, they are actually playing the Think Joker Legions, so Star Vegas. So we can afford to take our time a little bit. They're not going to rush us if we don't commit much, and we won't rush them. It is... Stitch Draw. Yep, there's Blaster Joker. So it does run that. We damage our Whiffed Heal. Beautiful. Thanks, game. I love you. We do draw the Break Rod, which is a good thing. So obviously, Break Rod will help us mitigate what's in our actual hand. And we can work with stuff. So obviously, Swing Vanguard. You check nothing. Opponent checks nothing. They are running Astral Reaper as well, so it does hint towards there is going to be Dark Zodiac in the deck. What their main rod is, we don't know. Whilst I'm not committing rear guards, they aren't going to be able to lock stuff. They're not going to be much of a threat to me. They do actually hit a heal to go off, so they're 3 in drop, so they can overcall to Legion if they want to the following turn. We top deck into a PG. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for this one. And we're going to call you down. So I want to try and push through 2 damage this turn, ideally. If he drops extra cards to initiate the Legion, then I'll be happy. If he doesn't, then oh well. We do hit a Tamahagane, which is really good. The thoughts next turn. I could call Tamahagane over this to get an extra card and drop. But we are kind of slow with actually hitting stuff this game. So I might actually Tamahagane and then use Starter to actually get the 4 and drop ready to Legion the following turn. Depending on what he does. This is... Oh... That's that's really nice. That's the ranked RSP version of Imaginary Plane Dragon. So he's going to more likely try and force Legion this turn. And then lock me down. Which we're kind of fine with, honestly. We'll take our time. He's really not got the resources to push too hard with anyway. Because he'd have to overcall, which would then mean 2 cards out of hand. Do see the Photon. Oh, that's the SP ranked as well. So obviously Photon locks down that. I've got no issues with. So he's going to push us to 4 damage this turn. This has now got his Ditch and Draw, so he can technically Legion now without overcalling. Ideally, if we are defensive, we're in a better position here, but chances... Oh, no, we do hit defensive, so we do stay at 3, which is really good. I think my plans are going to be... We're going to call this down. Swing at that, and then swing Vanguard. If we hit a heal, we're in a really good spot, because that then gives us... Thank you, game. I appreciate you. And then gives us an up and drop. Oh, the draw triggers even better because that guarantees that we don't need to actually overcall to Legion. It's all down to how hard he actually wants to push. And what in the position he's in, it's not good for him to push too hard. Because he can't fully triangle lock me this turn, no matter what. So all it takes is me to mitigate him and just give him... Just do some more little nibbles. If he does the triangle lock, he discards 1 card, goes to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in hand, so he'll go down to 5. 1 call will give him 4. I can still Legion and do the Legion skill because I've managed to keep 2 copies of the Legion mate in hand, so I can actually utilise said skill. I've got Uncalled Tamahagane, I have the draw trigger, so I can Legion the draw back in. I can also call down one of the Legion mates to... Actually, I could keep the Tamahagane back for now because it's not too important and use the Legion mate itself to get the cards from the bind to the drop. Yep, he's going to force 3 damage at my face, which I'm fine with. Puts me to 5. I've still got PG in hand. He's really not got anything to work with. He's debating if he wants to swing Vanguard first for the actual heal chance. He does swing Vanguard first. First check, nothing. Second check, nothing. So he does actually lose his rear guard, get into Omega Lock something. We do also heal on top, which is really good. So now, if anything, he's got to swing his rear guard into my rear guard, which he does do. Okay. We are going to ride skip. I'm actually going to have to overcall now because I've run out of these in my deck. So we're going to call you down. We actually are going to call Tamahagane down. We're going to actually pick apart his rear guards more than anything. So we're going to Legion heal, heal, draw, and the Legion mate back in. Then we're going to use the Vanguard skill. We're going to remove you from the game. You hit Blaster Joker and... right, so I do actually want to get rid of more stuff now. We're going to call you down. We are going to discard you. To then remove... We'll grab another copy of the Vanguard itself from deck. And we want to knock you out of the bind zone. We then call over you. And battle phase. Swing you at you. First check, nothing. Second check, nothing. And swing you at the Vanguard. No trigger from you. Use my skill. Gold Blast into that Legion mate to take you and you out of the bind zone because you ditch your drawer. Last turn, he can have his Lanthanum back to hand because I've got no interest in that. And now he's in a really bad spot. That's fine, he can have his Photon. I've got no issues with him having a Photon. But he's literally really bad spot now. Took his 1 PG that we knew he had out of his hand. If he double draws now, that puts him back up to 4 and I can use my Legion skill again. Alright, so what I could do is actually go for this Legion. Take this out and still send it to drop with this. Honestly, that's a waste in my eyes. What I can do instead, ride skip, use this to ditch this to bind it. Do that from hand, and we'll PG check him. You can't reuse Photon skill anyway for the fact if he's not got the Counter Blast for it. First check nothing, second check nothing. Take a PG out of his hand. We now unlock again. Yep, there's another Garnet. So no matter what, we're in a really good position. Because I don't think he's got... for him to actually kill me this turn, he either needs another grade 3 in hand, or he's got to cool down Actually, yeah, he's got to have another grade 3 in hand no matter what. Because he's got to discard one now to use this. Which obviously takes out the intercept. But he then needs to make a column, this to hit Vanguard. And that, which he can't do. Obviously, this is going to swing Vanguard. We hit nothing. He's now going to hit double trigger for this to hit anything. First check, nothing. Second check, nothing. So we PG it. This now doesn't hit. He has to pass turn. We then get to do this. Pull you here. And we'll Legion back in. Draw, 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 and one of the mates. Need to put a mate back in. Now, Legion Mate's skill will take out one of his intercepts. And battle phase. We swing this here. And we use its skill. So obviously now when his photon goes back to hand, it's actually instantly discarded. Then this swings it back, just in case of a 6 damage heal this is. And then draw trigger into another grade 3, so we can re-Legion again next turn if it gets necessary. Okay, it's all down to now whether he hits his heal or not. He does not, and we win game 1. Alright, I shall see you in the next one. Alright, and we are now back for game 2. Hopefully we get something that's not Link Joker, so I can actually show you some variety for the games, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. As it carries on whirling on the waiting. There we go, we are now in the game. Ooh, we got Narukami, so it's more likely going to be the Brawler stuff. That is a bad matchup for the fact of it can obviously target straight down with the starter. It is going to be a bit more back and forth. But we have got the Fuki Bear. But we do need a different grade 1 to ideally ride. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to mulligan both grade 3s. Increase my chance of hitting it. There we go. We've got a second Fuki now. We've actually got a lot more to play with. And now we just hope to actually draw into a different grade 3. He is using the same common starter at the moment, which is the grade 3 searcher. Obviously, the Brawlers is a very highly... We need certain grade 3s. Please give them to us situation. Fuki Bear gives us a really nice combo. I'm half tempted to not swing, so obviously he doesn't get his starter. Yeah, I've got this now to actually Legion off of. Obviously, we ride Fuki. I think my sensible option is I'm actually not going to attack him because I want to see what he does. I've got the options to not bear if I don't need to. But he has to do something. At that point, Fuki Bear goes live and I actually get stuff to work with. So it's all down to what he does. I've more like confused him a little bit by just doing the draw, ride, pass and not attack. Yep, he has gone for the counter charger. It does. The play I did make did scream that obviously I've got the Fuki Bear combo. But no, he just plays into it, which I'm absolutely fine with. Gives him an extra soul charge out of it. He soul charges a heal, which is really good. He draw turn. We actually got the better ride now as well, which is really good. So, I ride the bear. Take care of the starter. And we're going to drop the Fuki. And use Fuki's skill. Hopefully we hit something good. We hit the Rising Phoenix, which is really good. That means he now can't mitigate his soul. Unless he's got a second one in hand. There goes the Rising Phoenix. We'll use our Kokujo. I think it's Kokujo. I can't remember the starter's name. Soul Blast 2. Take the both out of the bind. Which puts him very much on a back foot now. Next turn we can ride. Pull card down. Yep, there's the cross ride. Let's see what he's got to work with though. There's its Legion Mate, Slash Dragon. He does have the ditch and draw there, so he's committed a lot of cards down now. He is Obviously, very much screaming he's on the back foot, because 2 cards in hand isn't the best situation for him to be in. First checks a heal, which doesn't go off, because I've got more damage now, because he swung rearguard first. Second checks a PG. Does show he's playing new style PGs, so if I was playing crits, I could force into 5 easier, but I have to wait and see. He ditches one of... Ooh. Not sure about that ditch there, Chief. Right. Now, this is more interesting, because I've got this that I can actually afford to go into, because I haven't got this drop zone set up anyway. So, yeah, we're going to go into you. And then we're going to call the heal down. See where we go. So I'm going to force him to 2. But if he goes for his Legion and tries to nuke my field, I'm then at 4 for in drop. He whiffs the second heal, which is really good. Obviously, 1 heal will go back in with his Legion, because he is now at 5 in drop. But his Big Bang will now actually put my heal in drop, which I can then Legion back in. So he's got to think carefully, because obviously he's also losing 1 less attack that he would gain. And it's not actually gaining him much advantage for the fact of I'm not blocking him with intercepts at this point. But I'm playing strategically at the moment. I've got the double PG in hand, which is a really good position to be in. I'm more than likely not going to bother with actually using... Next turn, if I do end up Legion, I'm not going to bother using this skill for the fact of... He's not going to have the 4 cards in hand, so I'm not going to get the full effect out of it. So I'd rather just Break Ride... Use the Break Guard skill to get the card out of hand, and then use this to take the card out of hand to drop, and then make him force discard the following turn. I want to properly mitigate down to what he can and can't do. So obviously, for him to use the Legion skill, he's got to put a card out of hand as well. Put it to 2 in hand. Which he is doing. He wants his Cross Ride, which I've got no complaints with. It does put us in a bit of a precarious situation, because obviously our grade 2 can only hit 11k. He does cool down an intercept as well, so he's going to get mass attacks on that. We are going to be pushed to 5 this turn. Yeah, he's got 2 card hand. He'll get to do 3 ditch and draws technically. He'll get 10k onto the... Oh, no, he's going to... Oh, that draw's badly timed for me. And a heal on top, but it's still whiffed anyway. That's not an issue. Trying to think of what I want to do next turn. First checks a Tamanhagane. Hoping that we get a draw off the next attack. He's going to get, obviously, the 3 ditch and draws. Which is grade 3. Ideally, what I'd like to do is I'd like to draw into booster next turn if I can. Yep, and she's grade 2. He's really digging for the key pieces he needs. Draw / heal would be really good for me at this point. We get neither. If not, I'd like a boost as my draw for turn, ideally. Nope, we get another Break Ride, so not the best. So obviously we do Break Ride here. You get a Legion Mate out of his soul. I'm going to play risky. And I'm actually going to call a PG down to be a booster. Because at this point, I very much need to deal with his hand situation. I'd rather have the PG as a booster. Yes, if he kills it, he kills it. But I need to get over that 13k base. I'm going to call you there as well, so you can take out the intercept. So we'll do this. Because then this will swing at this. No, we need to be boosted. There we go. PG, really good. We'll Soul Blast the Break Ride so we can take a card out of his hand. Out of his bind, sorry. And then this swings at Vanguard. First check's a draw. You draw into a heal, so not ideal. Second check is nothing. He damage checks nothing as well, which is really good. Down and draw. He's now got the force discard before he can even draw for turns to know what he's got to work with. Next, if we do, he ditches a Sky Howl, which is really good for us. This does mean that if we do live the turn, we can take out his intercepts and force direct attack for game. So obviously, I can then Soul Blast to build up my attack. He's debating what to go with here. More than likely means he's got the actual lead. Yep. There's his mate. So he's going to attack 1, 2, 3, 4. That's fair enough. It's all down to what he's... Oh, he did draw another grade 3. Fair enough. More likely means that he's sitting on PG in hand then. No, he's just going all in. Obviously, his Vanguard's got to swing first. Takes out all 4 cards. First check's nothing. Second check's nothing. We obviously have the PG to protect us. But we do lose all our rear guards. But we are now relying on hitting a 6 damage heal to survive. If we do, I then ideally want to draw into a booster for turn, so I can then put that behind the grade 3. But no, we do not hit the heal. And that is game 2. Very close one, but I shall see you guys in a minute. Alright, those were the games. First one went really well for us. Bit back and forth. But we managed to control his hand because Link Choker do take their hand resources for themselves. And obviously, we could then mitigate with our guarding from their hand as well. Kept the game under control and we ended up winning. Second one was very close. Unfortunately, he just kept hitting all these grade 3s to actually cool down. And we did end up losing, but really close game. You could see really well how I was mitigating his hand, and overall I managed to show you the break ride, why it's useful in there. I showed you why both of the Legion mates, Legion leads were good and different combinations. But that is going to be it for this video. If you haven't done so already, please do like and subscribe. It very much does help the channel. Please do drop a comment. Let me know how your Nubatama pulls are going. Let me know what you think of the clan as a whole, what your decks are looking like. And I shall catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.